Hi, I'm Lynda Cromar, taking the little short walk. Can't do the really long ones right now because it's just really warm. It's not as warm as it was yesterday, but it's pretty hot. Anyway, I have something I want to share with you, and I think this is really important, so do listen all the way through. I know it will help you. I want to talk to you today about persistence and patience. Yeah, they both go together, and I'll explain why. You know, I'm amazed at how many people actually think that within less than a week, in a lot of cases, that they are going to achieve huge amounts of money, and they really didn't make any effort. Or in a lot of cases, they buy the program or they get started with something, and it doesn't matter what it is. And they have this crazy expectation that they are going to achieve what they want for doing nothing. Now, I can hardly believe that they feel that way, because you've got to think about this. There is no job on earth that I know of that you can just buy a little program, especially something as affordable as some of the things I offer, and expect just that to be the only process of actually earning the big money. Let's get real here. It takes effort, it takes persistence, and it takes patience. Now, if you think about it also, and it also especially matters if you have a certain amount of learning curve to do, that you have not done any of this before, then you have to allow for that time to learn it and to grow yourself in that process. There is no way that you can just push a button and you suddenly have thousands and thousands of dollars coming into your bank account. It just flat doesn't work that way, and if you believe that, go buy a lottery ticket. You might have better odds. And I'm not being mean about this, but really, truly, you need to get straight with yourself about this. A learning curve, and it's also about mindset, has a big amount of what's going to make this work or not work. So, the persistent part is to do the daily activities you're taught to do. Not taking that daily action, and you just buy something thinking that's all I have to do. Well, for one thing, I never offer something and tell somebody that they don't have to have some kind of effort on their own part to accomplish it, and I always try to be real clear about that. Now, on the other hand, some people just don't get it no matter what you say, and I can't be held responsible for that. So the patience part. I get people all the time that say, okay, I'll take that $10 trial for 10 days, and at the end of 10 days, I sure better have results or I'm going. Well, you know what? If you have that kind of attitude, I would say, don't start. Because I don't even know of a job most of the time that doesn't make you work a certain amount of hours before you accomplish it. And if you are required to do a certain amount of activity that takes you 8 hours at minimum a day, and I know for the fact that almost nobody does that kind of activity in their business for some reason, they just don't employ themselves. And then they think that they're going to get the results that they're expecting. Seriously. I have a learning curve that I went through that I can't even relate in this, that you truly have to put your time and energy into it in a way that, you know, we make it as easy as possible, but you just have to do it. And without a doubt, there is going to be some things that you need to learn, and it takes a while before you gain the understanding and the expertise that you need to have so that it starts to go more smooth. And a lot of it comes from that persistence and that willingness to learn. And then again, also, you need to have some confidence. Now, we can relate back to the infant, but you've got to look at yourself. If you've never done this before, just like you are that infant, barely learning how to walk. Now, if you look at an infant doing that, he does not give up, even though he falls down hundreds of times. Sometimes it takes them 6 months to get that accomplished to the point where they're confident and they're strong and they're steady. You have to do the same thing for yourself. So, that's what I have to share with you. Be persistent. Understand that you got a learning curve and you absolutely have to give yourself that time. Now, if it's a money issue that you can't pay a due, something that's repeating, which most businesses are, some kind of a repeating amount you have to pay, then you better be working at a job so that you can cover your expenses. That's exactly what you need to be doing. Now, when I first started out with doing online business, there were times when I didn't make any money at all for months and months on end. When I tell you I make money now, that's because I developed some skills. That's because I learned, and that's because I became persistent, relentlessly persistent, as a matter of fact. And that's something that you need to have, a work ethic of being so persistent, and then being really willing to give yourself whatever time it takes. And if it's a money issue, like I said, back that up with the job then. Have a way to support it so that you can be successful. Because if you're just expecting the results to cover your expenses, you can't always do that. I'm being straight and honest with you today because this is absolutely the way it has to be. If you truly want to accomplish what you want, you've got to understand this. That it isn't always a matter of you constantly having the attitude that within 10 to 15 days, or even 30, that you're going to cover all of your expenses. Sometimes you can, and I've done it many times, but I can't tell you that I did that on my first time that I ever tried something. I failed many of those first times, and yet I kept after it. That's the difference in that learning curve I told you about. When you get to a point of confidence like that toddler, then you can expect a different result. And don't think about every time that you don't quite achieve the results you're asking for, that that's a failure. It's a learning experience. And it doesn't actually mean that the program that you're involved with is actually not good for you. It just means there's more learning curve before you're ready. And so you've got to give that some attention. Give it the time it takes. And then when you're done with that, then you start to see results. And be observant. You might be getting more results than you think. Just because you didn't get money right away doesn't mean you didn't get results. What about the leads that you produced? All of that counts. So that's what I got to share with you today. And I'll tell you what, the things I share are just about the easiest possible thing to do. But yes, there's a learning curve, and there's a persistence, and let's expect that it's going to take you longer than just a very minimum time that you've set up. That almost always is a little bit higher than the expectation you should be having on that. And I'm not putting you down, but I don't know what your skill level is. And if you don't have the skill level up to the point where the people that are sharing it with you have, then expect yourself to take a little more time. So I hope that that helps you today. And this is Lynda Cromar. Of course, I've got a link on. Take a look at that offer that I have on the bottom of this video. I believe that it can help you, and I'll see you tomorrow.